Hello, all you gridiron fanatics out there. Glad you could join us here for another edition of Gridiron Gab Pro Style, where we gab about all things pro football, from the scoops of the regular season to the scores in the postseason and the picks of the offseason. Let's start gabbing. Welcome back, all you fanatics of the gridiron. I'm glad you guys could join me again for another edition of Gridiron Gab Pro Style. Of course, I am Mr. CeeLo. Thank you all for joining me. I've been under the weather a little bit. This is why I haven't been able to do a show. I've been doing my other show. I've been under the weather, and every time I try to do a show, I was unable to. But a lot of things have taken place from the 53-man roster of a couple of spots that really surprised me. Shi Smith being one, especially considering the depth at the wide receiver. But I also saw the Panthers made a splash by taking Ihmir Smith-Marsette from the Chiefs with a 2025 7th round pick. Now, the reason why this is big is because this guy was really good in the preseason. I would venture to say he's really fast. That's what they were talking about. You know, him being 6'1", 185 pounds. And he was second in the league with 195 yards on 9 receptions. And he had 2 big 40-yard splash plays, which I guess that's to complement or to replace DJ Shark's production, not knowing how long he's going to be sidelined. But, you know, I think that'll be a good add, hopefully, with Shark, Marshall, and Laviska Shenault dealing with injuries. You know, this could be a good add-on, possibly. But this just gives opportunity for Jonathan Mingo. So hopefully he can come out there and do what he was brought here to do. And I have no doubt he will. Every time he's touched the ball in the preseason, he's been great. And I think probably the other one was Deion Jones, especially given what we have at linebacker. But I don't know. I did see some games where he was missing tackles and whatnot, so I guess maybe that was the writing on the wall for him. And his he was pretty much waived and so on and so forth, and released, and it just kind of throws But Edom Gross-Matos is still on the roster. That was a shock. That was a huge shock that he was still here. But it probably is a good thing he's still here, giving the next set of news that I don't like passing on to you guys. And you guys have heard probably the situation with Brian Burns. And some of you are probably angry at him, but I'm more angry at the organization, because the organization needs to, and we'll talk about the Nick Bosa situation as well, because these two guys hold their team's defense in their hands. Brian Burns has been a guy that has always been the thermometer for the Carolina Panthers and their defense. You think Carolina Panthers the last 4 or 5 years, it's this guy. And you have to, as the Panthers, you know, when Hassan Reddick got there, this guy had a career year because this guy was lined up beside him. And then you go out and you get Justin Houston with the idea that he is going to be playing opposite of Brian Burns. Now, people are going to say Brian Burns needs to just play football. He's under contract. Well, here's the thing. The Panthers and he is what makes this team on defense go. They understand that, and he understands that. He is trying to get a future. He wants a future. And I think they need to do this. Stop playing around with this deal. Understand that the Chiefs' future is going to be very short-lived without Chris Jones, which is ironic that we segue into that, because the Chiefs, there have been reports that a trade could be imminent with the Panthers and someone else, and that someone could be the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, if this happens, and this is where the tricky part comes into play, if this is the guy that you're shopping, what are you going to get for him? If you know he's having a contract dispute with you, teams don't want to trade him, or excuse me, if you don't want to pay him, the ball is proverbially not in your corner as an organization that's trying to get him gone. You didn't see that with Christian McCaffrey? If people are saying, oh, I'm squandering to get this guy away for pennies and nickels, I'm not going to give you what you want. Where does this logic come in? You trade a guy like Burns when you don't want to get rid of him. Not when everybody in the world knows, oh, well, this is a contract dispute. No, they're not going to get what they think they're going to get. But having said that, they are going to have a lot of takers. And one of them was suggested to Kansas City Chiefs, who are having problems with Chris Jones. Now, having said that, they do have a rookie they drafted, Uzomah, if I remember him correctly, Felix Uzomah. They pair him with Burns, now they're back to being a threat again. But here's the thing, if you're the Carolina Panthers, you're not going to get a good pick. You're going to have to get 2 firsts and a second for him. Because the Chiefs' picks are ultimately not going to be a great pick. They're going to be playing at the top every year, which means they're going to be drafting at the bottom. So the Chiefs are going to have to give up, which honestly, the Chiefs are not going to worry about that. They've got, really when you got your star quarterback, you really have very few needs to draft in the first round. You can arguably say, hey, I'll give up my first round pick every year to get a certain player. You see a lot of teams do that. If they already have their quarterback, they're willing to give up their first, knowing that they're not a great pick for a star player or a couple of first-round picks just to get that player that's going to plug that need. But if I say to Scott Fitterer, Dave Tepper, y'all need to get this done. The ESPN has you guys picked to go 10, 6, and 1. That's predicating that Brian Burns is on the field. Frankie Louvu, probably the biggest steal you guys have had. He ain't Brian Burns. I know about Amari Barno. Not Brian Burns yet. You need Brian Burns. Get it done. Get the deal done. Because if you don't get this deal done, that whole 10 and 6, guys, I'm predicting the Carolina Panthers record for this year, and it's right there where ESPN said it. Except mine was 11 and 6. They got a tie in there. Right? They got 10, 6, and 1. And I will post what ESPN said about their games this year. But as I get ready to close, you guys, Scott Fitterer, I challenge you. David Tepper, I challenge you. You want this franchise to go back up? You better let Brian Burns' pay go up. You guys, be sure to go over to Growlin' and Prowlin' and check out my Carolina Panthers show, as well as taking the surveys on Facebook. Also, go to my Talk Like a Champion. If you're a Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan, go Irish, number 10, baby. Go over and check out my Fighting Irish channel, also on YouTube. Like and subscribe over there. And I also have a Facebook page for that as well. Also, go over to my all-access college football program, Gridiron Gab Triple Option, where we discuss all things college football. Sorry about the upset there, Clemson. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that was a debacle the other night. We'll be talking about things like that, as well as the newly updated top 25 polls and so on and so forth. But until the next time, same Gab channel, same Gab platform.